Hi guys, today we're going to do the problem solving. We're going to just do lots of problems. You know now what arithmetic patterns are. You know the two formulae. You can pick any one of the two and you can actually read through this. You will see that we're going to be able to do lots of different things because remember what I said, once we get to the problem solving, we incorporate lots of things, not just the sequences that we're busy with. So you can just read through that on your own time. Let's start with an example. Good. Determine the arithmetic sequence where the 10th term is 31 and the 15th term is 46. Now let's just get some space to do that. Now I just want to warn you, many pupils do this because they know now, they know the terminology. They say T10 is equal to 31, which is not wrong, it's true, and T15 is equal to 46. And then they sit and they haven't got a clue what to do further because there's now two statements, it's actually only statements, it's not equations that you can work with. So this is the only information you've got. So there's absolutely nothing you can do with that. That's why I've got a rule. And you remember I said it in previous lessons. If you know a formula for something, write down that formula. It doesn't matter what type of work you're busy with. If you know a formula for something, write down the formula. So I'm just going to cross this out. And I hope you're going to remember this crossing out, because if you write this down, you're going to be stuck. And I've experienced this a lot in my life. This is what happens, and then the pupils can't go any further. So once you write down T10, let me just get the formula here. Tn is dn plus c. That is the one we basically use in grade 10. As I say, you can also use the other one. Let's just write that one down as well. A plus n minus 1 d. You can use any one of those two, but we're going to concentrate on this one for now. Good. So once you've got your formula and you see that T10, you're going to write down the formula. It's d n plus c. Remember the n in this case is 10 because they gave us term 10. So if I now say this is equal to 31, can you see here I've got an equation? And the minute you've got an equation, you can do something with it. So let's just write it neatly. D10 is actually 10d plus c is equal to 31. So there, I've got now a sum. You can only do maths problems if you've got equations. Problem solving means you have to have an equation which you can solve. Now I've got that, but I've got a little problem. There's a d and a c in that equation. You cannot solve an equation with two variables in it. So I need another equation, but luckily they gave me another equation. They also said that T15, and I'm going to immediately write, it's D, which is D15 plus C, and they told me that is equal to 46. So if I write that neater, it's 15D plus C is equal to 46. Let's call this equation 1 and this equation 2. Because as you can recall, if I've got one equation with one unknown in it, I just solve the equation. But if there's two unknowns, I need two equations. And then you do simultaneous equations. Now, there's lots of ways to do simultaneous equations. You can either substitute the one equation into the other one. But if they've got a nice pattern like this one, you can just subtract the two equations from one another. Or sometimes you can add them to one another to get rid of one of the unknowns, because we cannot solve it if there's a c and a d in your equation. So if I look at this c and that c, I can see they're the same. 15 is bigger than 10, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to say let's take equation 2 and let's minus equation 1 from it. Just be very careful. Luckily, we've got only pluses in our sums now. But if there were minuses and I minus a minus, it becomes a positive. So be very careful if you do the minusing and if there is a minus specifically, that you make sure it turns into a positive. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say 15d minus 10d is 5d. And I'm going to say c minus c is just 0. And 46 minus 31 is 15. So there I got rid of my one variable c. Now I can solve it. I can divide by 5 all over, and that means d is equal to 3. The minute you've got one unknown solved, you just go to the easiest equation. In this case, it looks like equation 1. And I'm going to rewrite it 10 D plus C is equal to 31. But what is D now? You found it to be 3. So it's 30. If I take it over 31 minus 30, it's just 1. So there you've got your D, and there you've got your C. What did they actually ask? They asked you the general formula. So now I can write down. Therefore, my Tn, which is actually Dn plus C, I can now rewrite Tn. The D was 3, the C was plus 1. Remember, if it was minus 1, you need to write the minus 1, whatever it was. And there's my formula, and now they can ask you anything on this specific sequence, and you will be able to do it. Good. Let's just get rid of this, so you can go and redo it on your own. As usual, you must go and redo it all on your own without anybody telling you anything. I just hope you remember the hint. Maybe I should write it here. Let's just write the hint here. NB. Always write down the formula. If you know a formula for something, don't just start off writing down whatever they gave you. If you can fit it into a formula, as we did it now previously, we do that. Good. And then you will have the formal solution there. Actually, maybe we did not read the, let's just quickly go back to the question. Determine the, they did not just ask this formula. They also asked the sequence, because I saw now there in the answer. So once we've got that formula, you remember the formula, let's just go back to, the formula was 3n plus 1. Now I can write down the sequence. And we normally only have to write down the first 3. It depends on what they're asking. If they say write down the sequence, we can write down 3 and we can just make dots there to show that it is carrying, it does carry on. Now, where did they get the 4 from? They did T1 is equal to 3 times 1 plus 1, which gives me the 4. And so they did with every other one. T2 is 3 times 2 plus 1. And that's where they got the 7, etc., etc. And now we can also see that there's a common difference of 3. We actually knew it from the very start. So even if you only started with the 4 and you added 3 each time, then you'll see you get to the next term. So just read very carefully. Don't just assume, they asked the formula and I gave the formula. Make sure that if they ask the sequence as well, that you just quickly write down the first 3 or 4 and just make some dots to show the sequence is actually carrying on. Good. Let's look at another example. Now it's to find the position. Remember, the position is the n. The nth term, the 4th term, the 10th term. Which term? So what are they asking? They are asking the n. They did not ask you the value of the term, because then they ask you the t. Remember, those two, it can be very confusing. So just listen to the t and the n. They're asking you which term. Not the term's value, because then it will be the positive, the capital T. They ask you which term, so they're asking you the M, and there's the sequence will be the first to be less than minus 44. That is how we write less than minus 44. So let's just get an empty page and do it there. Which term in the sequence will be the first to be less than? Now, I can either write out the whole sequence forever and ever and get to the minus 44 and see which term is less, but that is why we got a formula, to save you all of that time. And remember, if we give a mark allocation 3 marks, maybe for a sum like this, or maybe 4, you cannot spend 6 or 7 minutes on that problem. So you cannot write out the whole big fat sequence. We're giving you marks for the formula, for the substitution, so you have to write. If they only ask 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 terms, then you can write them out and read the answer. But if they ask something like that, we need a formula. But now I do not have a formula. Remember what we said? We first check, is this an arithmetic sequence? Now I wonder if you can remember. Is that common difference here 3 or minus 3? What do we always do when we say common difference? We say term right-hand side minus term left-hand side. And that will be 9 minus 12, which gives me minus 3. Minus 3. Let's check this one. 6 minus 9 is minus 3. The minute I see the D is repeating, then I know I've got my common difference. And then I know this is my D, my common difference. Good. Now I must do my formula. Remember, always write down your formula. dn plus c. So I got the formula. Minus 3n. Okay, let's just stop here. You remember there's now two ways of getting the c. I can either test term 1 and find out what the c is, or I'm just going to do it in my head. Let's just do it here. If I say minus 3 times 1, so now I'm testing term 1, it gives me minus 3. Was term 1 minus 3? No, it was 12. What do I do from minus 3 to get to 12? I have to add 15. So if I add 15 to there, then I will have my formula. If you're not sure, you do this. You say plus c, and you say, but term 1 was actually 12, minus 3 plus c, and if you get the c all alone, you get c is 15. So you can either do this and find the c, or you could have just done it in your head. My first one was T1 was minus 3 times 1 is minus 3, but I saw it should actually be 12, and so I knew I had to add 15. Okay, there's my formula now. The minute you've got your formula, you can answer what they asked you. They said, which term will be less than minus 44? So just remember, never in one line to put two equal or greater than or smaller than signs. You only do it once per line. So I'm just going to rewrite my equation. That minus 3n plus 15 must be smaller than minus 44. Is that not what they ask? They say which term, which n, remember they're asking the n, will be smaller than minus 44. So the value will be minus 44. But it may be the 20th term or the 11th. So the n is always where you can put a th or a nd or a third or fourth or second. Then you know it's the n I'm working with. That is what I want. So now I need to solve this. So minus 3n, if I take that over, it becomes minus 95. And now a very, very important thing that I wonder if you remember. I need to get rid of the minus 3. So I need to divide by minus 3 because it's being multiplied there. I must do opposite working, so I must divide. But whenever you divide or multiply by a minus, I hope you remember from long ago that the inequality sign swaps around. So if I do divide by minus 3, this now becomes a greater than, not a smaller than anymore. And it's minus, go in there, 1, 9, comma, what. I'm not going to even work out the rest because you know what? A term can't be 19, comma, whatever. So I need to, let me just see if I did make a mistake. I forgot my minus there. I thought it couldn't be a minus. Minus 44, minus 15. You see how easily you make a sign mistake? And now when I got to the answer, n can't be minus because the n is the amount of terms we're working with. So then I knew I made a mistake. So it's actually plus. Remember, this is logical stuff. It's a sequence, a few figures in a row that forms a pattern. So it's a logical thing. So if you get to an answer that is not logical, check. It was a silly little thing. I just forgot the minus, and now I know it should be 19, comma whatever. So the n must be greater than 90. It doesn't matter if I say 19, comma 1 or 19, comma 9. You're not going to round it up or down. You need the first n that is greater than 19. So therefore, the n must be 20. Because the first whole number, n can only be a whole number because it's the how manyth term. So the first whole number greater than 19, comma whatever is 20. So therefore you can say T20 will be greater than minus 44 because this is what they actually asked you. Good. So this is a little bit different question. There's now an inequality involved. As I said, we also always incorporate lots of stuff, but that should be very easy for you to do. So you're going to practice it all on your own. I'll just leave that little note there so that you can remember, but you're going to try it on your own. And remember, once you've tried it, there will always be a proper solution that you can go and check, and that's that. You just take some time there, pause your video, and look at that. Good. Now, what we like to do, especially in exams, is to give you diagrams. So we don't give you the physical sequence. We want you to write down the sequence. So we give you patterns. In this case, it is, matches, and they form triangles. So I just want, this is term 1, term 2, and term 3. Now, can you see something? There's one triangle in here, there's 2 triangles in there, and there's 3 triangles in there. So in this sequence, the amount of triangles correlates with the term we are working with, but not the matches. So now it depends on what they ask us. They can ask us about the matches, or they can ask us about the triangles. So let's look at the first question. How many matches would you need to build a diagram with 50 triangles? Okay, but now they talk about matches and triangles in the same sentence. But that's not a problem, because I know by now my triangles is the same amount as the term I'm working with. So actually, they're only asking you the 50th term, because there must be 50 triangles. So in which term will there be 50 triangles? If there are 3 triangles in term 3, 2 triangles in term 2, in which term will there be 50 triangles? In T50. So what are they actually asking you? T50. So I'm going to write down my formula now, but I haven't got anything yet. So let's just go to an empty space. I need to write down. Here I've got 3 matches. There I've got 3 plus 2, which is 5 matches. There I've got 5 plus 2, which is 7 matches. Now you actually heard the pattern already. So there's my sequence. What happens from there to there and from there to there? 5 minus 3 is 2. 7 minus 5 is 2. So I can see my common difference is 2. So I'm going to write down. Let's just get the formula first. Tn is dn plus c. You remember? What do? We first fill in our d, which we found now to be 2. And then just here on the right-hand side, I'm going to check. If I've got T1, it's going to be 2 times 1. Let's just check. Is T1 2? No, it's not 2. It's 3. So what do I short? I short 1. So if I add 1 there, I must add 1 there, and that's how I get C. Or you can write it out formally, like I did in the previous one, and you'll also find C to be 1. So there's my formula. The minute you've got your formula, they can now ask you whatever they like. They can ask you about the T or the N, whatever they want, or greater than or smaller than, because you've got your formula. So what you always do, you write down the basic standard formula first, and then you see that you get that D and C, because those are the 2 letters that need to be values. So I've got it now. So what did they ask? The 50th. So all you do, you say 2, and all over where there were N's, you put in an empty bracket, the 50, and that gives you 101, and you can just write a neat answer. The 50th term will be 101. So how many matches will there be? Let's just go back to the question. They ask how many matches will there be? Then you just answer them. There will be 101 matches. Good. The next question, let's just go to the formula. Okay, before I do that, I need to take this off, because you're going to redo it on your own, and make sure you find the same formula. And then luckily, after you've done it on your own, there will be a formal answer that you can go and check. So you can pause here and check it thoroughly. Then, just before I carry on, I just want to give you a hint. They could have asked you here about the triangles as well. They could have asked you about the triangles. They could have asked you, if I've got 410 triangles, the how manyth term is it? We'll still do examples like that. And then you know, now they want the N, not the T, because they've given me the T. They've given me the value of the term. So just make very, very sure that you do not confuse the N and the T. That's probably the only mistake that you can actually make. Except for silly ones that I did previously. I forgot the minus, but then you can see there's a mistake and you can quickly correct it. Okay, example 4. Now they give you the sequence and they tell you it's an arithmetic sequence. It's very important that they tell you that, because if they don't tell you that, you do not know that there's a common difference. Because that's the key to an arithmetic sequence. There's always a common difference from one term to the other. So I know in this one, there's also supposed to be a common difference. But now I can't actually find it. I can find the first one. 9 minus 6 is 3. But now there's the x. So the next one will be x minus 9. Let's just put a semicolon. The next one will be 15 minus x. So suddenly, I've got a complicated, funny D. I still know this is my D, either 3 or x minus 9 or 50 minus x. You remember we take right-hand side minus left-hand side. I hope that's a pattern in your mind already now. Never the other way around, because then it will all be wrong. So I did right-hand side minus left-hand side, and there's all my d's. But luckily, I know because it's an arithmetic sequence, the d's are supposed to be the same. So if I take my first d, which is 3, I can put it equal to my second d, which is x minus 9. I can actually pick any two d's. I could have picked this one there and that one there and put them equal to one another, because what happens now? I can solve the x. I get x all alone. It doesn't matter on which side it is. 9 plus 3 is 12. And if I now check, they only asked me the value of x. But if I just quickly check, 6, 9, 12, 15. Let's just check. You always check your answer. Is it possible? Is it theoretically correct? 6 plus 3 is 9, 9 plus 3 is 12, 12 plus 3 is 15. There's your sequence, and you know that you've done the right thing. And all they actually asked was the x. Very easy. So you're going to redo it on your own. So do not be disturbed if there's x's or funny stuff in your sequence. If you know the formula of a sequence, and you know what the d and the c stand for, you just do that. It doesn't matter if it looks complicated. It's still as easy as just the normal numbers. There's now just an x instead of a 12. So it shouldn't be any more difficult. And then after you've done it all on your own, you will be able to see the answer. Good. Actually, that answer is not there. So let's very quickly just see if you remember. We did the common difference is 3. Or it was x minus 9. So we said x minus 9 is equal to 3. I just wrote it the other way. It doesn't matter which way you write it. So x is equal to 3 plus 9, which is 12. And there's the 12. I see it's such an easy one that we didn't even leave the formal answer, so I'm just going to leave it here. So if you do this one on your own, please cover the green answer. Do it on a clean sheet of paper, and then you check it afterwards. Good. Now there's a non-routine problem. So that is not necessarily an arithmetic sequence. So it could be any other sequence. If you look at this conjecture here, the sum of the first n numbers is equal to the square of n. Now, we've done this previously. We've done all the square numbers. If you look here, are all the square numbers, 1, 4, 9, 16. You know that already. For term 1, it is 1 square. For term 2, it is 2 square. Now, I don't even have to go any further, because you can already see the pattern. For Tn, it is n square. And that is how you can also find a formula if it's not the normal arithmetic one, because you can get ones that is non-routine, and there you've got the answer. Good. So this is basically what we can ask you. Mostly it will be arithmetic sequences. We may slot in 1 or 2 like these that is a bit different, that you must just write out a few terms and see the pattern. Otherwise, you just write down your formula. Once you know it's an arithmetic one, write it down, fill in the D and the C, and you're on your way. Good. Good luck. There are some examples with the answers. As usual, you can just go and check. There's a nice one there with sketches that you can just do your own. Good luck. I'm sure you will be able to do all of this, because it's really very easy, as you saw. See you next time.